Hello, everybody. Recording is in progress. Welcome to our class, to our first class of 1036, Engineering Science, ES 1036. In summer, normally they call it L, but in our department, they call it A because it's first term, first year engineering science course. Our course will be like a compressed course, or how they call it, intensive course. It will start as of today, May 16, 2022, and we will be done by June 24, 2022. I wish everybody to have a successful term, a beautiful course, that you will enjoy the course, you will get the benefit and the learning outcome we are looking for, and we will try to satisfy all course objective for each student. And since that we have a small size of course, not like the course I was taught in winter, it was 162 students. So 9 students in this course, we will work hand by hand, shoulder by shoulder to achieve our target. I will start with the course outlines, then we'll start with a quick presentation about our course, how the thing will goes in this course, how the assessment task will go in this course, and we will see everything. I will share my screen now. Let me open the course outlines. Okay. Everybody can see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, Engineering Science 1036A, Programming Fundamentals for Engineers. So this course target, or the objective of this course, to give you the foundation for computer programming with a specific emphasis on engineering problems and applications. The course will cover the introductory aspect of object-oriented analysis and design and implementation using Java and MATLAB techniques, along with testing according to the specified requirements of the program. Computer programming will be treated as part of the engineering process, and as such will be the context of this course will be through according engineering profession. I'm the course instructor, Dr. Mohammed Noor Injadat. I hold a PhD in software engineering from Western University, specifically in artificial intelligence and machine learning. Class timing will be on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 1 via live Zoom link, or recording will be posted to a YouTube playlist in my channel. That will be announced after this class via OWL. The lab session will be in person, and the location is ASIP 2435. It will be Wednesdays from 1 to 5. And since that we have an online session in Wednesdays from 10 to 1, and immediately the lab will start after, and I know that you would prefer to attend the Zoom session from your home. So we will end our class on Wednesdays at 12:30, and the TA will start the lab session at 1:30. So you have 1 hour to move from your home to the campus to be in person in the lab. Office consultation hour. So it will be 1 to 2 every Monday via Zoom or by appointment. Even if you want to ask me or meet me during the office hour, it's better to send me an email. If the 1 to 2 is suitable for you, we can meet during that, and the link is here. If not, then we can arrange for some time else. The TA is available for in-person meeting or also via Zoom. Okay. Unfortunately, due to my family situation, I'm unavailable for in-person meeting. The academic calendar, this course, it will be the contact hour, 6 lecture hour per week for laboratory hour, and it's counted as half credit course. The anti-requisite are computer science 1025 and 1026 in the computer science, if you are from computer science. It's an 100% engineering science course. This is the required, there is no required textbook, but there are some references. The material I gave you, the class discussion, sometimes I will provide the class notes, handwritten notes. So those, I believe they would be enough, plus whatever you find a suitable reference for yourself. Here are some recommendation or recommended reference. They are not required, but if you need to have like a copy of those, it would be your reference. Here are course topics. At the first week, we'll take an introduction to computers and Java. What are the different components of computer system? What are the different steps in software development process? How to compile and run Java program with or without using IDE? Relate the history and the release of Java language. In the next class, we'll start on Wednesday with Java fundamentals. Introduce data types, identify variables. So we'll go step by step within Java. Word, then the third topic will be about object-oriented programming. There, it's a concept of a programming. We have historically two concepts like object-oriented programming and structured programming. So in this course, we are teaching the modern way of how to use object-oriented using Java. Then we'll take some decision structure like if, then, else, switch statement. Then we'll go to the loops and files. Then we'll use the array as data type. Then we'll back to object orientation concepts like inheritance and polymorphism. And the last topic will be like a quick introduction to the MATLAB, because you will need it a lot in your study as engineer. The evaluation, which is the most important part for every single student, we will have online quizzes via OWL during the class time. We will have 4 online quizzes in total. The quiz question will be taken from the course component using the lab assignment and the covered material. In some quizzes, a student might be asked to write a small size Java program. Mainly it will be true or false and multiple choice. But in some quizzes, we will ask you to write a piece of code. No late submission will be accepted. The time is specified. If you do not, there is no makeup quizzes. Sometimes if there are some students they miss, I might make it 5 quizzes, then I'll count the highest 4. But please, since our size is small, so we'll have the 4 quizzes. It is easy, simple from the covered material. If you are following up with me, closely study what we cover every week, do your assignment by yourself or lab assignment by yourself. I'm sure you will get a high mark in these quizzes. And these quizzes will weight 20% of your total course mark. If the course is totally true and false and multiple choices, you will receive your mark immediately. If the quiz has some, like you have to write something, then it will be marked manually. You will receive a mark immediately after the quiz, but this is not your total mark. So in some terms, the students send me, why I get 6 out of 10 in the quiz. No, it's 6. This is your mark in the multiple choice, and the true false, but the manual one is not added yet. It will be added manually. Is that clear, guys?
Yep.
So the mark you receive immediately after the quiz, this is for automated marking part. If there is a manual marking part, it will be added when it's marked manually by the TA. I hope this is clear. Then we have laboratory assignment. We'll have 5 labs. Normally in the normal term, we have 8 labs, but since it's a summer course and it's a compressed course, so we just only have time for 5 labs, but we will cover the whole material. The labs will be released every Monday. You have until Sunday 11:55 before midnight to submit your lab assignment. A code similarity check will be used. What is this? What is code similarity check? Please don't copy and paste from your colleagues or from the net. Collaborate, understand, and write your own code. Nobody will write the same code as his colleague. Same as you are writing essay. There is no essay, no 2 people will write exactly the same essay. Programming the same. Each one has his own thoughts, his own way of thinking, his own way of problem solving, his own way of logic, because programming built it on logic. So at least even the variable could not be the same name, but don't change the variable and copy the other code. We will catch you. And guys, don't think that just we want to like to catch cheating or academic offense. No, this is for your benefit. I need you to understand and do the thing by yourself. And it's not a complicated thing. Everything is covered during the class. And if you have something is ambiguous, you can, during the lab session, ask the TA. She will be more than happy to guide you. She TA'd the course this multiple times, so she's experienced in this course. And also you can ask me. I'm here to help you. I'm here to let you understand. I'm here to work together to achieve our goal in this course. So don't hesitate, don't be shy to ask. Now, for example, if I release it on Monday, you solve it, and it's done in Wednesday, you can submit via OWL and ask the TA to mark it live. She will run the code similarity check, then she will mark it. And by the way, the TA will ask you a question when she mark during the lab session. She want to make sure that you understand what you submitted. You will ask me, okay, you are saying on Wednesday, if it's ready in Wednesday, what if it's not? No, you have till next Sunday. For example, I will release lab 1 today. You have till next Sunday to submit it, right? So next Wednesday, we'll have the first lab session. The first lab session, the TA, everybody should be submit. No late submission will be accepted, because we are an intensive course, so we don't have time to have late submission. The course only 6 weeks, so no time to delay things. So next Wednesday, she will mark lab 1. Also, you will have lab 2 released on Monday. If you are done with lab 2, show it to her and let her mark for you. If not, if you submit it Sunday, the Wednesday after, she will discuss. So the first part of each session, she will work with you and mark the previous submitted lab. Clear? Any question about this? How the thing is gonna work?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So when you mean next Sunday, do you mean like the upcoming Sunday or like the week Sunday after?
So today is Monday, right?
Monday 16, yep.
Yeah, so today after the class, I will release, tonight, I will release the first lab.
Yep.
You have 1 week per lab to be submitted.
Okay, so then it would be 22.
Yeah, so it will be like Sunday 22, midnight before Monday, 11:55 p.m.
Okay.
So the Wednesday, next Wednesday, at the first part of the lab, the TA will ask you a question about it and mark it for you. And in Monday, we will release the lab 2. So lab 2, if you are done with it, some student will be done with it on Wednesday, so she will mark it also. If not, you have another, each lab you have 1 week. The Wednesday after, she will mark it for you. Is that clear? So don't be hurried to submit it in the same Wednesday on that week. You have till Sunday, so take your time. This is my point. Okay, we'll have a midterm test. It will be like determined next week. Venue, most probably it will be during lab session, the midterm, the last hour of lab session or the first hour of lab session. So it will be 1:30 to 2:30. As I mentioned, the lab will start at 1:30 due to, like, I don't want to give you time to reach to the campus. And final examination, this will be determined by the registrar office for the time and location. Or if the department will decide it, we will work with it together. So each component worth 20%, and the final examination will worth 40%. Any question about assessment or the course evaluation? Is that clear? And just one last point, that the midterm, we'll said like the midterm material will be like handout 1, 2, and 3, 4, for example. The final examination cover everything. It's a programming language. It cannot be separated. So it will cover everything since day one.
Will you post some sort of review for the midterm as well in the final, or is it up to us to review the course content?
You mean like a revision class?
Yeah, like a practice. Mhm.
Yeah. The
Okay.
lab will give you more than enough practice.
That's true.
However, the last class before the exam, the last like 30 minutes or an hour, it will be a review to answer your question and give you some guidance that would help you to do well in the exam.
Okay,
And
thank you.
some extra example. I might like post a handout with more example, and then we'll go through it as a revision. Any other question, guys? So here we talk about the laboratory. It's start 25th. Each assignment, this is how to submit it. No late submission will be accepted. Midterm exam, it's a closed book on campus, in person, no exception. What do I mean by no exception? Guys, some students will say, oh, I'm in Torino, I cannot do the exam. Could be online? No. Midterm and final exam will be in person. And if you miss the midterm, there is no makeup will be done. So the weight of midterm will go toward the final if you have a legal and authorized of your absence. Grading and feedback. And anybody has a special case, contact me from now so we can arrange. Don't make surprise during the midterm or the quizzes or the final exam period. Because it's a short period, so you should plan ahead. The grading and feedback, the quiz is graded automatically or manually, depend on the type of question. The grade will be posted in our grade book within a week. All lab assignment and exam submission will be graded manually, and the code similarity check to be made by this software. More information about the system, if you wanted to know about MOS, you just click on this one and you will find it. Midterm and final exam in this course will be on-campus exam in person with no exception. We have also online discussion board. You can post a question so everybody can benefit from your question. Myself and the TA will answer this question, or one of your colleagues will answer, then we can support that answer, or if there is a mistake, we can correct it. So this is a beneficial for you if you want to use it. So it's not mandatory, but those who are very active on the forum, there is a kind of bonus mark, as maximum of 5 bonus mark will be added to your efforts. For example, if you get 80 and you did very well in the forum, your final mark will be 85, and you will be notified that 3 mark, 4 mark added to your final mark. I will inform you by email. So, but be careful what to say. Please follow these rules. Share your knowledge if you can help, but don't answer an assignment question. Don't answer something that there is an evaluation on it. If they ask, you can help guide how to answer, but don't put that. But if he asks, for example, a specific answer, I have this code, I want to try to do this, but the result is not okay, you can help, you can change this to this. This is okay. Is that clear? The use of English policy, it's same as all university thing in the policy. You can read them. Cheating and plagiarism and academic offenses, you know about this. Use of electronic devices policy, internet and electronic mail accessibility, support services. These are the link for the registrar, student development center, English undergraduate services, USC, and there are an academic counselor in the engineering. They are, they are a great team. They are doing very well in full collaboration with the instructors and the students. So if you need any help, don't hesitate to contact your counselor. Any question about course outlines? Any question about course outlines? Okay, this handout is just also explain the course, the activities. I will repeat it just to make sure that everything is understandable. Also, it's available in a form rather than the course outlines. It is available in a kind of presentation. This is a new version of it. So if you download the previous one I shared with you, today I changed them. So for the course outline and the handout one, if you have the old version, you can delete it and download the new one. So the course overview, again, the goal, course resources, office hour, lecture, and lab timetable, components, and evaluation. So the goal, be able to write computer program for a small problem using modern object-oriented languages, which is Java. Why ES 1036 that each single engineering student should take this course? Because nowadays, you know, software is everywhere. A little bit knowledge of programming is required nowadays. Some will be software engineer. To make it easier to learn the upper year student engineering courses to a new programming languages, understand and participate in exciting academic and professional discussion, both at Meetup and online. Office and consultation hour. The office hour will be on Mondays 1 to 2 p.m. via Zoom or by appointment. The link for Monday's Zoom meeting. This is typos. I should delete it. Okay, I will delete it. This is Dr. Auda office. Okay, online lectures. Monday and Wednesday, class timing Monday and Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. via Zoom, and this is the link. In-person lab session. Lab session Wednesdays 1 to 5, in-person, location ASIP 2435, midterm and final exam, and location to BA because those will be in person. In-person lab activities on campus starting May 25th, and it's at ASIP again. Online discussion available on OWL to be used by the student, the TA, and the instructor. We have only one TA in this course. Normally, during the normal term, we have multiple sections and multiple TAs. Post any question, concern, or comment that you may have about the course subject matter or a course itself. Bonus point will be added to the student final mark who would participate in this forum through the discussion board. For example, read the question, post the question, or respond to peers' question. Start now. Introduce yourself through a new conversation and post in the forum topics and start to gain extra credits. So you can start as of now. Course topics and timetable available in the course outlines, and we see these things and the topics. The evaluation, again, quizzes 20%. We have 4 quizzes, 5 lab assignments, midterm, all at 20% in total. So you will ask me the 5 lab assignment, how it will be. It will take equal weight, and all lab assignment will weight 20% of your final mark. Same, the 4 quizzes will weight 20% to your final mark, and the final examination will weight 40%, and the midterm is 20%. In addition to the forum participation, up to 5%. Lab activities, 1 lab exercise every week starting May 16. As of today, you will implement the concept we cover in class through 5 assignments. Each assignment will be posted on Monday on OWL. You need to work on it immediately and submit your answer anytime until the end of Sunday of the same week. No late submission will be accepted. All lab assignments will be graded manually, and the code similarity check will be made using the similarity detection software system MOS. A link to MOS is available in the course outline if you want to know more about this similarity check software. The online quizzes, there will be an online quiz every week. There are 4, so some week, like the week of midterm, there is no, the week of final, there is no. So the remaining 4 weeks, that we will have 4 quizzes. And the first quiz is next Monday, guys. Next Monday, we'll have the first quiz. And we'll agree on Wednesday to be at the beginning of the class. I would prefer the beginning of the class. So we're done with the quiz, then we can continue our class as normal. So let's from now say it's at the beginning of the class. So next week at 10:10, I'll give 10 minutes for you to be, because, and also your camera should be on. The quiz is recorded, but it will not be shared in the YouTube channel. Okay.
So just to ask again, so the quizzes will be at the start of the lesson every Monday, starting from next week?
Yes.
Okay.
For the material covered this week, we'll have a quiz next week. Then next Monday, what we'll cover next week. Then we might have the midterm. In the midterm week, they will not have a quiz. Then we'll have another quiz 3 and the quiz 4. Then we'll have the final week. It will be a revision, and we finalize the things. Clear? Any other questions? Also, I'll post an announcement for the instruction this Friday, this coming Friday, like quiz 1 instructions.
Just another quick question. So how long will
Yes.
the quizzes be? 1 hour?
No, it will not exceed 30 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, and
And-
guys, for quizzes, I
Okay.
know that there are some students, they need some accommodation, they need double the time. All these in my consideration. For example, the quiz need 10 minutes. I'll make it 30 minutes. So everybody have enough time, even if you need accommodation. For the midterm, if you need accommodation, you have to contact the accommodation services in the student support center. So you can do the midterm with them. But for the quizzes, if somebody need an accommodation, it's counted. So you have more than enough time to answer the quiz. The quiz need 10 minutes. I gave 30 minutes normally. Okay. The quiz will be automatically or manually, depends on the type of question. If there is like write a piece of code or find the error in this code, what is the output of this code? And the grade will be posted on our grade book within a week. Midterm examination, a closed book on campus exam for 1 hour, worth 20%. No makeup exam will be offered. If you have a valid reason and legal permission to be absent from the midterm, then the weight of the midterm will be carried toward the final exam. So your final exam will be out of 60. The time and the place will be announced in our. Also in the class, I will inform you also in the class. Final examination, a closed book on-campus exam for 3 hours and will take place during the regular examination period, worth 40% will get an exam review prior the exam, not prior the exam. Also for the midterm, we'll have like a quick review before. What else? Please read the course outlines carefully. I will do my best to let you enjoy learning Java and make it one of your favorite topics. Good luck. Any questions? Questions? Okay. I'll give you 10 minutes break to run to the washroom. Then we will start at 11:02. Okay?
All right. Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. Okay, we'll come back after the break. So we will start with handout 2, which is called Unit 2, Introduction to Computers. I'll share my screen right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. So So we will start now with the programming fundamentals for engineer with handout 2. So introduction to computer and Java. So we'll talk about, at first, we'll talk about basic computer terminologies. Then we'll talk about programming languages in general. Then we'll start going toward Java. Basic computer terminologies. Definitions. What is a computer? What do we mean by a computer? A computer is a programmable machine to handle different tasks at a great speed. These tasks can be spreadsheet, database, word processing, games, websites, whatever. What is a computer program? Also known as software, a list of instructions directing the computer to perform a task. So I have another definition of the program. What do you mean by a program? A program, it is performing certain logical step to arrive at the solution for a certain problem. If I ask you to write a program that finds the maximum between two numbers, so what are the steps that I have to instruct the computer using any programming languages to have an answer of my question? I'll enter two numbers, then the computer will output the maximum is. For example, if I input 5 and 10, then it will give me the maximum is 10. So it's a set of logical steps instructed to the computer to arrive at the solution for a certain problem. Is that clear? What do you mean by a program? And since we mentioned the term software, computer consists of two main parts, software and the hardware. Software, this program, application, Windows, Word, Excel, Internet Explorer, anything that you are running in the computer is a software. What do we mean by hardware? It's the physical device that form a computer, like processor, motherboard, hard disk, keyboard, screen, mouse. All of these, we call them a set of hardware. Why we call them hardware? Because we can't touch them and feel them. Can you feel the program or touch the program? No. So it's a software. So this is a hardware, refers to a computer equipment, keyboard, mouse, terminal, hard disk, printer, which is the physical devices that form a computer or a computing system. What is a software? Refer to the computer programs. What is a computer system? It's a combination between software and hardware. So a computer system, it's a combination between software and hardware. Questions still here? So we talk about hardware, software, computer system, program. What is a computer? What is a computer program? And what is a computing system? Is that clear? I think this is easy and knowledge for you. So this is an example of hardware like a camera, joystick, scanner, keyboard, camera, another kind of camera, the touchpad, the CD or the DVD or the Blu-ray nowadays, speakers, printer, screen, CPU, the central processing unit, and the main memory, which we call it RAM, random access memory. Questions? CPU. It is the central processing unit. We took the CPU, central processing unit. And it is the heart, or some other book call it the brain of the computer. It is the heart of the computer, is the central processing unit, or what we call CPU. CPU job is to fetch instruction, follow instruction, and produce some resulting data. Internally, the CPU consists of two main parts, control unit and arithmetic and logic unit. What is the job of control unit? CU. The job of control unit, coordinate all of the computer operations. It gives the sequence which operation will be executed now. What is next? This is the control unit. And when we get a result, how to pass this result to the hardware, what is the address, where is the RAM, where is the hard disk, all of these things. And we have the arithmetic and logic unit. It is perform all mathematical operation. And what I want you to know, that anything in the computer will be end at 0 and 1, and everything will end at an arithmetic operation. So ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, it will do all mathematical operations. Control unit will coordinate all the tasks or the operations. Questions? The CPU. A program is a sequence of instructions stored in a computer's memory. The CPU performs the fetch, decode, execute cycle in order to process the program information. So we have fetch, decode, and execute. Remember those. Fetch, decode, and execute. What do we mean by fetch? The CPU control unit fetches from main memory the next instruction in the sequence of program instruction. When we define the program, I said it's a set of certain steps. So step 1, step 2, step 3. The control unit will fetch which one to be executed now. I finish with 1, then it will go to 2 or 3, depending on the program. Decode, what do you mean by decode? The instruction is encoded in the form of a number. The control unit decodes the instruction and generate an electronic signals. What do you mean by electronic signals? Do you know the difference between digital and analog? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. The digital, it's an electric pulse, so it will decode it to electric pulse. No pulse, that means 0. There is a pulse 1. The computer understands only one language. It's called machine language, which consists of zeros and ones only. So this is the job of control unit. It will receive like line of program instructions. It will decode it based on a compiler or interpreter. We'll talk about that later. It will decode it to zeros and 1 using electronic pulses. There is a voltage, that means 1. No voltage, that means 0. And there is a time frame to differentiate that these pulses to be read correctly. Questions about decoding? Okay. Execute. The signal is routed to appropriate component of the computer, such as ALU, disk drive, or the same other device. The signal causes the component to perform an operation. So how to execute? We do the job. After decoded, we will direct it to the correct unit. We will do the job, whatever its calculation, whatever we perform the operation, and get the result. Main memory. Main memory. Commonly known as random access memory. Okay, commonly known as random access memory. We have two types of main memory in the computer. One is ROM, read-only memory, and this is what we call it, or you know it as BIOS. And we have random access memory, which is the main memory, which is the RAM. RAM consists of a currently running program, data used by those programs. RAM is divided into units called bytes. A byte consists of 8 bits that may be either on or off. What do you mean by on? On is 1, off is 0. Each 8 bit, the bit is either would be 0 or 1. Each 8-bit will form a byte. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay, good. A bit is either on or off. If it is on, that means there is an electric pulse, which is 1. Off, no electric voltage or electric pulse, it is 0. The bit form a pattern that represents a character or a number. Each byte in a memory is assigned to a unique number known as an address. So each byte in the RAM or in the hard disk auxiliary memory, it has a certain, we call it certain physical address for that byte. RAM is volatile. What do you mean by volatile? Volatile, if there is an electric current, it's work and save the information on it. Once the electric current cut or we switch off the computer, it will lose all operation. This is what do you mean by a volatile memory, which means that when the computer is turned off, contents of the RAM are erased. Clear, guys? I know that you took this in high school. If you took a computer science course or introductory to computing course or any programming course, but we have to repeat this, assuming that some students, they don't or they have this previous information, but now it's known to everybody. Any question till here? For example, a series of bytes with their addresses. The number is 149, is stored in the byte at address 16. Now we use the hexadecimal. We call it the hexadecimal numbering system. It's not the place to discuss it. However, we use the translation of the hexadecimal, which is location 16. And in location 23, we have the value of 72. This is like a kind of simulation how things are stored in memory and RAM. Secondary storage or auxiliary storage. Secondary storage are devices are capable of storing information for longer period of time, non-volatile, like hard disk. If you switch off the computer, is your hard disk will lose the information? No. Yeah, by the way, you remind me, guys, our labs in ASIP, they don't have, the labs don't have computer. You have a screen, you have a mouse, you have a keyboard, but you have to bring your own device. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. You have to bring your own device to the lab session. Sorry, I forget to mention this when I was discussing the lab thing. Common secondary storage devices. Disk drive, solid state drive, SSD, USB drive, or what is we know as flash memory, optical devices like CD-ROM, DVD and the Blu-rays, CD, DVD. And what do you mean by optical devices like the optical drives like Blu-ray? These are kind, I don't know why they put CD and DVD. It's a kind of optical devices. So CD, DVD, and the Blu-rays are a kind of optical devices. Input devices. Input is any data the computer collects from the outside of the outside world. What are the input devices or the common input devices are keyboard, mouse, touch screen, digital camera, scanner, all of these things. Disk drives, optical drives, and USB drives can also be considered as input when data is read from those devices. So if I store my data from on those devices and I need to read the data from those devices to input them to a program, then they will be considered also as an input and output device, because I use them to output my data and save my data. Also, sometimes I'm use some saved data to be used as an input. So secondary storage are considered as both. Output device are any device that we use to output any data that sends to the outside. The data is displayed on devices known as output devices. Common output devices are monitors and the printers, disk drive, USB, and CD. All, as I told you, that the secondary memory or secondary storage devices are considered as input or output depending on the operation I'm using them for. Computer system. The first part we said software and hardware equal computer system. The first part is software. Software refers to the program that run on a computer. There are two classifications of software: operating system and application software. What do you mean by operating system? Who can tell me? Guys, who can tell me what do you mean?
So operating system, I assume it would mean like the system your computer runs on. So like Microsoft Windows or Linux.
Yes, exactly. Like Windows, iOS, Unix, Linux, Android, whatever. So the operating system is a kind of software, but this software is used to manage the computer, like Windows. It's an operating system. It's the system that operates the computer and allow you to view things, use it to do certain operation. Like MATLAB is an application software. So this operating system will allow you to have application software like programming languages, like databases, like web browser, web design, graphics design, Photoshop. All of these are application software that's written in any programming languages or in any software design tool. Is that clear, guys? What the difference between operating system and application software?
Yep.
Questions? Operating system, for example, Unix, Linux, Windows, Mac OS, or iOS. Android, because your mobile phone is a computer nowadays. An operating system is a set of a program that manage the computer's hardware devices and control their processes. Most all modern operating systems are multitasking, capable of running multiple programs at once. Before, we used to have some kind of operating system that they are single task operating system. I cannot run a video at the same time I have a certain program or certain application running in the background. So we have two types of operating system: multitask operating system, single task operating system. Nowadays, single tasks are gone. So Windows, for example, is a multitasking. I can run multiple operations at the same time. Application software refers to programs that make a computer useful to use. Application software provide more a specialized type of environment like Microsoft Word, spreadsheet, accounting software, tax, games, whatever. Web browsers. Now, so we know that we have operating system, application software. Now we'll talk about programming languages. Programming languages were invented to ease the task of programming. Use word instead of numbers. Assume now, if I ask you about the program to enter it in a 0-1 combinations, how tough this would be? It will be very tough. Then in a programming language, I'll talk about the history of programming languages. Then we have a more modern one. We call it still considered as low programming languages because it deals direct with the processor. Don't need any interpreter or compiler. We start use an assembly language. And if you choose to go to computer hardware, you'll get this course. So assembly language, it's some kind of programming language still at low level. Use the registry and the CPU immediately. Still, for example, to write a code that write your name in the middle of the screen, you need 40 line of code, 40 line of code, 40 line of code to write this kind of a program. However, in Java or C, you need 1 line to output your name. So programming languages, we have low-level programming languages, intermediate-level programming languages, and high-level programming languages. Java is considered as high-level programming languages. So these programming languages designed by the authors of these languages to ease the programming task. So we use word instead of numbers, and these numbers should be 0 and 1. A program can be written in programming languages and translated. So the translator, there are two types, interpreter and compiler. I don't think at this level we'll discuss these concepts. If it's part of the course, we'll talk about this now. But so let's call it translator. That will translate the code in a programming language like Java to a machine language to be understood by the computer hardware and the operating system to be executed, and the operation on this instruction to be executed, and we receive the desired output. So it will be translated into machine language. Programmers use software to perform this translation, which is Java IDE, whatever interface of Java that you will use. So here, these are the programming languages, and here are some description. We start at the beginning with basic programming languages. With basic programming languages, it was very basic language, and which is one of the first high-level programming languages. So it's good for beginners, all-purpose symbolic instruction code in general purpose procedural programming languages. It was originally designed to be simple enough for beginners to learn programming. Then in the history, we receive a Fortran, then COBOL, then Pascal, then C, then C++, then C hash, then we receive a Java, which is an object-oriented programming language invented at Sun Microsystem and now is owned by Oracle. Then from Java, they have something separate. We call it JavaScript, which is a programming languages use Java to be designed or simplify the task of websites. Perl, however, JavaScript is not related to Java. Java-like, but it's a separate. Then we have a Perl, which is a general purpose programming language that's widely used in internet server. Then PHP also in developing dynamic website. Then Python, it's also an object-oriented and is a very well known. And during your study, if you go to software engineering, you will learn Python. Ruby is a simple but powerful object-oriented programming language. It can be used to a variety of purposes. Then Visual Basic, it is a Microsoft programming languages and software development environment that allow programmers to create Windows-based application quickly. There are a lot of another programming languages, but these are the most common programming languages. Now we will start introduction to Java. So Java is a general purpose object-oriented programming languages originally developed by Sun Microsystem, and now it's acquired by Oracle Corporation. It declares the principle write once, run anywhere. So Java, when it's designed, has an objective which is write once, run everywhere. You can run it in any operating system. The Java language project was initiated in 1991 by James Gosling and others. In the beginning, the language was called OAK or OC. Sun Microsystem released Java 1 in 1995. They took 4 years to release the first version. In 2014, Java 8 was released, the most popular version among developers, as it has the LTS support feature. We'll talk about this later. To date, the latest version of Java is Java 6, released on March 16, 2021. This is a history of Java. So what is the programming made of? Guys, I'll give you another 5 minutes break because I need you to come concentrate. Grab a coffee, just walk in the room. Then we'll back after 5 minutes at 11:35 because here we start our course officially, and this like keyword, operator, punctuation, these things, it will be with us in every class. So I need you to be fully concentrated. Okay, we'll back at 11:35. Okay, guys, we'll come back after the break. So we stopped here before the break. So we need to know some terms about programming languages. That we have a term keywords, we have operators, we have punctuation, we have a programmer defined names, we have a syntax. What do you mean by those? Keywords are the reserved word, which are a word that reserved by the language. I need to use them whenever they are needed, and I mean to use that command. So these words that have a special meaning in the programming language, they may be used for their intended purpose only. Keywords are also known as reserved words. Those words are reserved, and when you write your code, they will appear in different color. Operators are symbol or words that perform operation in one or more operand, and operand is usually an item of data such as a number, like plus, minus, divide, and, or if it's logical operation. Punctuation. Most programming languages require the use of punctuation characters. These characters serve a specific purpose, such as marking the beginning or ending of a statement, or separating items in a list. We will see, like a semicolon or double quotes if we wanted to output a text. Programmer defined names. Unlike keywords, which are a part of the programming languages, these are words or names that are defined by the programmer himself or herself. They are used to identify storage location in memory and parts of the program that are created by the programmer. Program-defined names are often known or called as identifiers. For example, you need to name a variable like A, average, max, min. There could be a keyword. Each programming language has its own keywords. But there are some other words, I define them and I can use them in the program. Those called are what is called identifiers. Syntax. These are rules that must be followed when writing a program. So each language has a syntax. Like in English, if I need to make a sentence, it should have a noun and a verb, right? Phrase is not a full sentence. So these are syntax of English, which is the grammar of that language. So there are rules that must be followed when writing a program. Syntax dictates how keywords and operators may be used and where punctuation symbols must be placed or appear. Example, what's a program made of? We'll see here, public class. Why we see those in blue? Who can tell me?
Oh, because they're variables.
They are a keyword.
Keyword.
Okay, so public is a keyword. We'll know what's the meaning of public and what do we mean by a class in the course. Payroll is an identifier. You, the programmer, call it payroll. It's a class named payroll. So the identifier payroll is a class created by user. What's the type of this class? It's a public class. And we'll see what everything is, what is meaning of public class. We'll see later. Then here we have public. Now we have another keyword called the static, another keyword called void, then main, which is the main function, and here string, args. Those are identifiers defined by the programmer. Integer, here it's a number which consists of integer, int. We use int to identify an identifier or a variable called hours of type integers. Double, another type of numeric values. We call it a gross pay. Pay rate, also another value, and we don't give a type, and we'll see what is the default type will be assigned to it during the course, and equal a numeric value. A gross pay equal hours times. These are operators. These are punctuation that we use, where we use them, how to use them. System.out, this is an output statement. Print line, your gross pay is, and it will print the gross pay amount here, which is your hours plus times pay rate. So these are punctuation. These are keywords. These are printed or commands. These are identifiers. These are keywords. Is that clear? And here we follow the right syntax. After identifying the class, we need to use the punctuation mark, which is the left parenthesis or left set. Here we have to end it. Then inside we have to use the void. After the void, we have to use a name. Then we need to use the parentheses, left and right parentheses, and inside we need to write the argument. We will introduce all of these terms when we reach to that point. Is that clear? Any questions? So this is a class that calculate the payroll. If you ask me, what is this? Questions? Okay. Keywords in the sample program are public, static, class, void, and integer. They forget. Keywords are lowercase. If you see, they are all lower case. We'll talk about this now. Keywords cannot be used as a programmer defined identifier. I cannot say here public, class, public, or payroll, or integer. Cannot. I have to define something different. Semicolons are used to end Java statement. Here we end, but here, okay. So now gross pay and pay rate, what is their data type? Here we call this data type, integer and double. What is the pay rate data type? Answer, don't be shy. I can see something in the chat. It's a double. Yes, Harnor. Why it's a double? Because here, if we use a semicolon, then we mean that only gross pay is double. But if we put a comma and we say a pay rate, like when we are like saying XY, and we use a comma. So Y follow the thing before X. When we put a semicolon, we end that operation or that command. So both the gross pay and pay rate, they are double. Is that clear? When to use comma and semicolon? We'll have a lot during the term. Here it's a single statement and command. So semicolon are used to end Java statement. However, not all lines of Java program end a statement. Part of learning Java is to learn where to properly use the punctuation here. So we make sure that we are writing the correct syntax. Clear? There are differences between lines and the statement when discussing source code. Double, gross pay, pay rate. This is a one Java statement using 2 lines. Do you see the difference? So here we make it a comma, then we end it. So 2 lines to make a one Java statement. A statement is a complete Java instruction that causes the computer to perform an action. So here the computer will reserve in a memory with a size of double 2 location. One we call it gross pay, and the other one we call it pay rate, but the pay rate has a value which is a 25, but the gross pay we don't have a value. The gross pay the value will be determined using this mathematical equation, or what we call it assignment statement. Data in Java program is stored in a memory. Variable name represents the location in a memory. Variable are created by the programmer who assign it a programmer-defined identifier. Integer hours equal 40. The variable hours is created as an integer, more on this later, and assign the value of 40. That the employee work 40 hours a week. Clear till here? Variable are simply a name given to represent a place in a memory. So integer hours equal 40. So the computer choose location 11, hours as identifier to that location, and inside that memory cell, we give the value of 40. Clear? Questions?
Yep.
The compiler and virtual Java machine. If you remember at the beginning of the course, we talked about compiler and interpreter, and both called the translator, programming languages translators, which will translate the program from the language it's written in to machine language. So a programmer writes Java programming statement for a program. These statements are known as a source code. A text editor is used to edit and save Java source code file. Source code file have an extension, we call it .java. Like a Word file. What is the extension of Word file? Who can tell me? Guys,
Can you please repeat the question? Sorry.
what is the extension of a Microsoft Word file?
Microsoft.
Dot what? You name it like your name as your name, like X or Y. Dot what? DOCX, right? Yes. Yes, Ryan, you are correct. So all Java program will have an extension of .java. .java. So we know it's a source code file for a Java program. A compiler is a program that translates source code into an executable form. A compiler is running using a source code file as input. So it will take the source code file that you wrote as an input, then it will be translated to machine language, then the processor will start executing the command, operation, or instructions or statements. Clear? Questions? Okay. Syntax errors. What do you mean by syntax error? If you did an error, or a mistake in writing your code, that may be in the program will be discovered during compilation, which is the translation. So once you do a compilation, then if there is an error in your program, then the program will stop and throw an error exception, telling you there is an error in line X. Syntax error are mistakes that the programmer has made that violate the rules of the programming language, the syntax of the programming language. The compiler creates another file that holds the translated instruction. Most compilers translate source code into executable file containing machine code. Most of the compilers, not all of them. But is this the only type of error, the syntax error? No. Sometimes, for example, if I ask you if the driver age is greater or equal to 50, put the insurance equal this amount or this percentage of the car value. If you as a programmer forget to add the equal, you make it greater than 50. So if I enter the driver age is 50, then it will consider with the previous category, which is 40 to 49, for example, because I forget to put. So there are logical false and there are an error in the program. And this you will be learned it in the 4th year software engineering with the software testing and verification course for 452. The compiler and the Java virtual machine. The Java compiler translates a Java source file into a file that contains bytecode instruction, which is machine language. Bytecode instruction are the machine language of the Java virtual machine. We call it JVM, and cannot be directly executed by the CPU. Bytecode files end with the .class file extension. The JVM is often called an interpreter. Java is often referred to as an interpreted language. So what is the difference between compiler and interpreter? A compiler that will compile the whole program at once, then it can throw errors or execute. Java will check line by line and it will throw the first error when you have the first error on the first line. Then it will go to compile the remaining lines. This is what the difference between interpreter and compiler. Is that clear?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, when we say an interpreted languages, the translation process or the compilation process will go line by line. Once it's found an error, it will stop there. Then you have to correct it to go to the next line. Compiler, no, like C++ will compile the whole program at once and it will give you the list of errors. All at once. Java, no, it will give you one by one. Is that clear?
So like when we do use Java and we use an interpreter, it would go
Okay,
line by
just
line
give
instead
me
of just all.
let's make it a live example for you. Here,
Okay.
like you write public, you forget the C. Then
Okay.
here you forget the C. Then here you
Mhm.
make it OU only. These are
Mhm.
syntax error. Here you forget the semicolon.
Okay.
In C++, it will compile it all at once and give
Okay.
you the list of errors.
Okay.
All at once. The-
Okay. Yeah.
This
mhm.
is called the compiler. Interpreter, no, it will give you the first error here.
Okay. So I get it. So in the interpreter,
So
if
you
let's say
will
we
do this
fix the
one,
C,
then it will come to the
then
next line, one by
next.
one,
Okay. Okay. So let's
line
say
by
I
line.
fix the C,
Yeah,
then I fix the colon, and then it would go to
Yeah.
the gross or system data, and then I'd have to add the U, and then it would finally compile.
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
This is the difference between interpreter and the compiler. Is that clear?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Any question, guys? So here we have the Java or the program development process to be applied to any programming language. So the programmer uses a text editor to create a Java source code file. Then we'll have the source code file, then Java compiler, the programmer runs the compiler, which translates. Okay, Shivali. Okay, go ahead. Thank you. So the programmer runs the compiler, which translates into the source code file by using bytecode file, as we discussed before. Then it will go to the Java virtual machine. So reads and execute each bytecode instruction. Okay, source file, Java compiler, bytecode file, the Java virtual machine for Windows, Java virtual machine for Linux, Java virtual machine for Mac, Java virtual machine for Unix. What does that mean? You remember, right? It's one, execute everywhere. So this is the simple way. Here, depending on the operating system, it's the same. Okay, that's why we say in Java, write it once, apply anywhere, or execute anywhere. Great. Questions? What are the types of Java software editors to write my Java code? The software you use to write Java program is called the Java Development Kit, or JDK. What are the JDKs? There are many different types, but the most common one, there are 3 different editions of JDK. The first one is Java SE, which as an abbreviation of standard edition, provide essential tool for developing application and applets. Java EE Enterprise Edition provide tools for creating large business applications that employ servers and provide services over the web. Then Java ME, which is Micro Edition, provide a small optimized runtime environment for consumer products such as cell phones, pager, and appliances. I will share with you like a guide which one to install in order to be in the same page when we are running Java code during the classes and during the lab, to be all in the same page. Okay. Okay, super. Go ahead.
I was wondering if during the school year we used IntelliJ IDEA. Are we not going to use this program to code?
Can you come again and raise your voice?
Sorry. So you said we need to download a new coding software for us to code. Are we not going to use IntelliJ IDE?
We can use the IDE. Let me think about it. But I think IDE would be the most common, but you know, there are some differences a bit. So I need everybody to be the same page as the example in the handout and in the book.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome.
So have you picked which ID we were going to use yet or no?
Not yet. Let me today compare between them, which is lighter to the computer, because you know, not all students, they are software engineering or electrical and computer engineering. So mechanical, you will use Java, you will use some software to develop, but I need something to be light to your machine and include anything that we want in the course. So I will send the guide how to install it. So even the TA, when they are explaining to you something live in the lab, or myself during the class as an example, I need that everybody to be familiar with that environment. So if you want to use something else, you are free. But I would prefer that everybody to be in the same page. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So compiling a Java program, the Java compiler is a command line utility. The command to compile a program is Java filename.java. Java is the Java compiler. The .java file extension must be used. The output file extension is .class. Example, to compile a Java source code file name payroll.java, you would use this command Java payroll.java. To run Java program, to use the Java command in the following form: Java class file name. Class file name is the name of the .class file that you wish to execute. However, you do not type the .class extension. For example, to run the program that is stored in the payroll class file, you would use like Java payroll. We will get practice on those in the next class to run some source or some live example. In addition to the command prompt program, there are also several Java integrated development environmental IDEs, which I would prefer to use. But let me see how much the size of it in the computer. This environment consists of a text editor, compiler, debugger, and other utilities. So it's easier for you guys. So it's a one package, no need to use the command line. That's why everybody prefer the IDEs. Like what Super said. A program is compiled and executed with a single click of a button or by selecting a single item from a menu. So it would be easier rather than use command line for typing your command. IDE tools, the Eclipse, which is one of the most common known, NetBeans, the IntelliJ IDEA or Android Studio by Google, but I believe for me, most probably will use the Eclipse. Anybody has an experience with Eclipse with Java before? I'll send you a guide how to install it. But let me see which version we will use and the size on the disk.
So I'm a bit confused. Which one are we downloading?
Normally I'm using like the Eclipse open source because it's an open source.
Okay.
It's free.
Open source.
You don't have to pay anything, and it's a
Okay.
nice suite, nice Java suite.
Okay. Thank you.
You see like this one. So you no need to write a command line. And if you need to write a command line, you'll write it here. No need to go to the command line of Windows.
So then we shouldn't listen to the slides where it says download IntelliJ IDEA and we download Eclipse instead?
Yeah, I will send you guys a full guide, what to use.
Okay, like by
Yeah.
email or in the owl or both actually?
No, I will put it like a handout with each step in OWL.
Okay, and when will we get this? By today or
I believe by tomorrow,
by tomorrow? Okay, perfect.
before
Thank you.
the Wednesday class.
Wednesday. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. So we recommend using a free individual student teacher license, student creating like, or we can use the JetBrains. Dr. Oda prefer the JetBrains. So I will compare between both and I will see, okay? Okay, guys? Or let's, because next year, if you go software, so you'll have the course with Dr. Oda, so you'll use the same compiler. Okay, let's follow the slide, okay? So use these, follow the slides. The
So you
JetBrains.
want us to get IntelliJ IDEA?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
because you know because next year courses, I believe, because Dr. Oda teaching these courses, so he will use the same. So you will be familiar from the beginning.
Okay, so then you do want us to use Eclipse, you want us to use IntelliJ IDEA?
Yes, follow the
Okay.
slides. Follow the
Okay,
slide.
thank you.
Because even IntelliJ IDEA, it's a great tool. So it's same as Eclipse. So we recommend using because they have a license for, so why I exclude this, because of you need to pay. But here we have a student teacher license by if you use your UW email. That's why I was thinking to go to Eclipse because it's free. But since we have a license offered by the university, no, we will use it because it will be full suite. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. And here how to download it, and here to the student, you go to the shop and you get it using your UWO account or ID. Questions? Questions,
Nope.
guys? Okay. I'll stop share here. It's enough for today as it's first class. Okay, super. You can go ahead.
Sorry, my internet cut out in the last part you were speaking. Just to reiterate, you want us to download the IntelliJ IDE and
Yes.
also the JetBrains.
Okay. So here we recommend using free individual student teacher license using the JetBrains. It's the same. It's the same.
Oh, it's the same
JetBrains, it's
thing.
the same.
Okay, I understand. Okay.
Yeah. So here the link to download it, and here how you can log in using your student account.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome. Any other questions? I'll stop here today. I don't want to start a new handout. We'll start on Wednesday. And today's first class, so I'll let you leave earlier. And see you on Wednesday with handout 3 I make some few amendments in handout 1 and the course outlines. So I will upload the correction of these typos that we found when we were discussing them. So I will upload everything, and also I will upload handout 3 and 4.
All right, just a quick question then. You'll upload lab 1 today, but there'll be
Yes.
no like in-person session on Wednesday.
No, there is no lab session on
No
Wednesday.
lab session Wednesday.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you
start
have
from the
any question, you
25th,
can
yeah.
email the TA.
Email. it to
Her
me, okay.
email is in the course description in the OWL website.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And the lab posted today will be due on the Saturday or Sunday, 11:55.
Yeah, Sunday. If you find some difficulty, then I can give you an extension to. Okay, let's make lab 1 due on the by the end of first lab, which is Wednesday 25th. I'll give you more than a week, but as of lab 2,
Okay.
it will be due on Sunday.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
I
it's
give
just-
you more time for lab 1.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Okay,
I'll just
sounds
try to
good?
get it done by the Sunday. Yep, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Take care,
All right,
guys.
thank
If you have any question, you can stay. If you don't have any question, you are free to leave.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harnoor. Omar,
So you said there's no lab this week? Like there's no lab session on Wednesday?
no, there is no lab session on Wednesday. There is the first lab will be on May 25th. And for lab 1, I gave you like nothing, it will not be due next Sunday. It will be due at 5 p.m. next Wednesday. Not Wednesday after tomorrow, the Wednesday after, which is after the first lab session. Because if you have any difficulty, you can ask the TA, then you can solve it and submit.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You are welcome. Nihar, go ahead.
Yeah, so you said that there's going to be a quiz this week, right?
Next Monday.
Oh, no, okay. Well, so like the upcoming Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Which will include today material and Wednesday material.
okay. So like today, just like the general knowledge that we went
Yeah,
over?
we cover 2 handouts. For the
Mhm.
handout 1, there is nothing to ask you because it's like a description of the course, which
Yeah.
mean only handout 2.
Okay,
And what we will cover on Wednesday.
okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Supper, go ahead.
Okay, 2 questions. So first question is, I think Monday is Victoria Day, or it's Family Day, so I don't think we have class on Monday. Or am I mistaken?
Kidding me? I don't know. Let me just.
It is.
check.
It's Victoria Day. I don't think there's class on Monday.
Okay, let me check. So, Ontario holidays 2022. Okay, so we don't have a class next Monday. Okay, so our quiz will be on Wednesday. I will mention that in Wednesday class. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that in. Thank you.
You're welcome. And my second question is, so lab 1 is due on the 22nd, or is it due on?
No, it will be due at 5 p.m. 25th, which is after the first lab session. Because
Okay, I
I'm
understand.
worried if you have something you need to ask the TA about, then you can ask it during the beginning of lab session, then you can submit.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, but
And
then, but lab 2 forward, no, it will be due on each Sunday.
oh, okay, I understand.
So lab 1, I give it an exception like 3 days extra.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
You are welcome.
And final question, for the schedule of the course, for example, due dates and stuff like that, you're going to release it on Friday, was it?
Yes, yes, the course plan will be released on Friday.
Okay,
Or
sounds good.
before,
Thank you.
or before, depending
Okay,
on my
or
schedule,
before.
because you know it's summer.
Mm.
I have 2 courses in summer, one for PhD and masters, which is the
Mhm.
machine learning, which is very heavy course, and your course. So I will release everything by the end of this week.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome.
Okay, have a good day.
You too. Okay, bye for now for everybody. Thank you. See you on Wednesday.